What's the most dangerous thing you own? The most dangerous thing I own, allegedly. At least that's what the internet says. Well, half the internet. One half the internet says that it is a perfectly functioning firearm and that it's everybody else's fault or user error. Some people say that it's basically a walking hand grenade. It's probably not the most tested, reliable gun in the world, but it's also probably not just going to kill you randomly. Hopefully. All these statements are my opinion. I'm an idiot, so take that for a grain of salt. But right now, there's probably not a more controversial handgun on the internet in the world right now than any SIG P320. So as most people's probably heard, they tend to go off on their own, allegedly. Of course, there's some high profile ones. There's not some such high profile ones. A lot of ranges don't allow this pistol anymore. A lot of classes don't allow this pistol. And it's probably more, some people have seen some people ban it. Some more people are banning it other than firsthand experience. The other thing, I think the FBI or DHS, this was their duty gun. It is no longer their duty gun after some internal reviews. There's a really good, Protraband has a really good video on all the stuff going on here. Check him out. And he goes over the FBI's report of a pistol that did go off in the holster, was left in the holster, sent to the FBI. They were able to do some things and some things they weren't. I'm not going to go over his video. His video is awesome. He gets really into the weeds on it and explains it so you can understand it. I was never a big SIG guy. I'm a Glock fanboy, you know, because once you have perfection, what else are you going to? But a lot of my friends, more the friends who, how do I put this nicely? They didn't shoot a lot, but they wanted a fancy gun. And SIG really did have good marketing, especially like their whole Legion thing. So I bought this pistol used, didn't really care. I just knew I wanted a full-size pistol because I was literally taking the guts and the slide and putting it on my flux. And then everything started coming out about the 320s are really hitting the news. I mean, there was always, you know, some back and forth, but honestly, I thought it was mostly, just internet talk, but I wouldn't appendix carry it, let's put it that way. So we're gonna see if we can recreate the issues that plague the SIG P320, do a little shooting, and I'll let you know what I think. Alrighty, so we're clean and clear. Put the trigger to the wall where it's not going off. Sorry, I don't have a knife. And then you can manipulate this. No click. So I don't know if I was exactly on the wall. I'm gonna hold it right to the wall. Manipulating all around, it's not going off. So that's what we're listening for. Let's try a different way. All right, one last test. We are clear. Didn't go off. Guess I got a good one. So my first impressions when I shot it was at least the full size, just box standard 320. It's got a good feel to it. I have slightly bigger hands, so maybe that works to me. But it's a good feeling gun. I mean, it's just dead accurate. It feels like you have something you can trust, which is very deceiving and makes me sad because I would like to trust this gun, but unfortunately, I personally won't. At least with the weight of the full size, the grip angle, the stippling on it, it just comes back to zero. I can rip off some pretty quick doubles. It has the good basis of a gun, at least the frame. Whoever was in charge of that, the angle, it feels good. The problem is really their FCU, the modular system. what I think, once again, I'm not a gunsmith, I'm not anybody special. I think the fact that it sits in the frame, it's not a part of the frame, it can kind of move around. We have plastic anyway, with tolerance stacking and maybe not as robust of a design. There's no dingus here. I think that's where they started to get into problems. So maybe the design on the computer, and then if everything was manufactured to standard, would be great, but there has been rumors of some SIG parts actually being made in countries that aren't known for their precision. And I think once you get a bunch of different parts from a bunch of different manufacturing locations, and maybe they're not perfectly there, you get a bunch of tolerance stacking. And I think that's why we're getting some guns that go off and some guns that don't. This one has had the upgrade, so they put the notch up there and they put a different trigger on it, a lighter trigger. I don't feel bad for SIG. I feel bad for, you know, all these people who kind of threw their cart in with SIG, and then now maybe it doesn't have the best reputation. And then also I feel bad for the people who've actually been hurt if it's actually a manufacturer defect that's hurting it. Once again, I'm not a lawyer. Also, SIG is very judicious, so I love you, SIG. Going from low ready, I don't have a holster for it because I got this little doohickey on there. Plus, I'm not going to carry this as a SIG P320. It's my flux donor. So, averaging about a second. I'm not used to these sights, taking me a little minute, plus I'm a slow shooter. But where it really shines is its double shot accuracy. Pocket reload. You know, and it's also one of those, why do they charge so much for their mags? Their mags are so expensive. I mean, it runs great when it runs. It's even got that Bluetooth trigger. So I can definitely see why these were big in USPSA, why a bunch of departments went to them. It feels like a solid gun, and the initial, you know, feel of the gun feels good. Trigger is slightly better than a Glock, you know. Doesn't have the dingus, which if they had the dingus, it'd probably solve a lot of problems, but hey, once again, I'm not an engineer. It's accurate, it follows up well, it feels good. I don't know what you want me to say. It's kind of sad. It seems like a good gun if it wasn't for all the alleged rumors of, you know, keys being in every cop's holster. It kind of makes you think, what if they redesigned it? You know, PR market wise, honestly, I think they should do the P321. Just go ahead and redesign it. You can make it same form factor, just fix that FCU or whatever the problem is. I'm sure they know what the problem is for legal reasons. They probably don't want to get into it, and it'd cost them all that sweet, sweet government contract money. I mean, it's a good gun. It makes me sad. One of the other advantages I noticed with the metal mags is they seem to fall out a little easier than Glock mags, but that could just be my feeling. The coating on them is solid, so maybe the mags are worth the money. I don't know. I've also heard that SIG has the best hookers and blow. So do you think the SIG P320 is as unreliable as the internet says it is? Or do you think it's very few? And if you think it's very few, or if you don't think there's a problem at all, would you carry one? Appendix. No SIGers here. This is a Glock neighborhood. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe so that I can afford more guns that may blow up when I throw them.